Hey, my name is Anna, and today I'm gonna do my January haul slash my unhaul for this month. Let's get into it. I have most of these is bought second hand. I also have actually kind of given myself a Christmas present that I actually bought brand new. I usually do that every January. I kind of take some of the Christmas money I get and spend some on books. So let's start. First up we have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have not read anything by him that rectified this year, and I found this very beat up copy, I admit. But I thought like it was only 50 cents, and if I really like him I can always buy a brand new copy. It's nice to, like, you know, shake it out before you buy brand new. It's pricey. So hopefully I like this, but we will see. I don't read fantasy that much, and I would want to read more. I usually like it when I read it, but they're often kind of big and they take a lot of effort and time, so I usually like push them off. I should not do that, but I do. Next up we have Men Explain Things to Me by Rebecca Solnit. I found this one interesting because this is kind of the book behind mansplaining. That, you know, the term has been popular the last few years. So that sounds interesting to see, like, how it came to be. One of these actually was only 50 cents. That's a pretty good price. This, and then I have like this one I don't know much about. I decided to take a chance with this Open City by Teju Ko, and it takes place after 9/11, and he's an immigrant in New York during that time, and kind of like how it became after the terrorist attacks. It sounded interesting to me, so I decided let's check it out. It had not super little, it had a couple of thousand goodies at least. I thought like, let's give it a shot. Then we have a Swedish book, which is Rarely, Seldom, Nice. I would translate it. This one is not translated to English, but Sami Said, and it's about I don't know if he's an immigrant himself, was a child of an immigrant from Eritrea, and it's about him going to university, and I think about like discovering about himself and his identity, and, you know, finding yourself in the world. Sounds interesting. Next up we have The Ex-Wife's Survival Guide by Debbie Holt. I wasn't planning on buying this one, but honestly it was because I could either buy 3 books or I would have to pay as much as I would have to buy 4 books, so like I take this one and see if it's good, because it's a very beat up copy. But I didn't like this kind of book, so I thought let's give it a shot. I like the cover though. It was very pretty. But I only had like a couple of hundred on Goodreads. That can be such a hit or miss. Usually they are just bad, but you never know. That's why I'm curious. Another Woman's Husband by Jill Paul, and this one is kind of, it's historical fiction, but it kind of involves Princess Diana, and I always think it's fun to read this type of books that are like historical fiction about a real person. I think that they are very interesting, so I have high hopes about this one. They're also about 4th in a series that I haven't even started in my life, but it is Sigurd by Johan Hildebrandt. It's like a Viking series evolving around women, and what is very interesting about this one exists translated into English, but the first 3 do not. Somehow they decided to do the 4th book. Let's start there and translate it into English. Why? I do not know, but there is one after this one too that does also exist translated into English. Very weird, but I'm gonna try to start this series this year, and I really think it's gonna be amazing. There's also a Swedish book. which is Burn All Bridges, City Helle, which is about finding yourself after. It's about finding yourself and who you are. I like that kind of books. And then we have Bookends and Straight Talking by Jane Green. I like this kind of chick lit. I have not read anything by her previously, but I feel like I want to read it. I want to read at least one of these. Probably two of these this year. Because I heard very good things about her. You know, people like Sophie Kinsella and Marianne Keyes like both of them a lot. So I think I will like her. And then we have also Two for the Dough by Janet Evanovich. I have the first book, and that one is always a bit like on my maybe TBRs like for a long time now. So I'm like, oh, I found this next one. Let's buy it. Because then I have it in case I like the first one. This is why I have so many books. It's 50 cents. Just happens, okay? And then the last ones is pretty good ones. Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. I'm trying to get my hand on this one pretty long. It's not a lot of lists of books you need to read. I have high hopes. Even if it is sad, it's not in English. I really want it to be in English. Then we have English Patient by Michael Odanje. I know it's like soldier, war, something. It's famous. That's my logic behind that one. And like I said, kind of all of these left. Also have Arman Havana by Graham Greene. Read. Silent Name with Quiet American. That was okay. But I still want to read some of his other work and see if I like it more. Also J.M. Coetzee by Waiting for the Barbarians. I read Disgrace a couple of years ago. Wasn't a super fan, but he is a Nobel Prize winner. I am curious about his other works and see if I like it more, so I thought let's buy another one. And hopefully I like this one better than the other one. Let's see. Okay. Hateship, Friendship, Courtship, Loveship, and Marriage by Alice Munro. Also a Nobel Prize winner. Not read anything about her before. This one was like short story collections. Not a huge fan, but I did read The Interpreter of the Maldives. The Interpreter of the Maldives by Jhumpa Lahiri last year, and I really liked that one. It was on the top 10. No, I think it was 6. I think it was like 6. It was 6 of my favorite books of last year. So maybe I am a short story person. We will see. And then we have Stoner by Sean Williams. My boyfriend read Butcher's Crossing like the entire of last year because he thought it was kind of boring. So we will see. I'm planning to read both of these. At least Butcher's Crossing will read this year. And I want to read this one too. We will see if I hate it too. And then I have 5 books I bought on sale. Brand new. And then we have a book of Das La Belle Sauvage. I need to update my French, it was a long time ago. By Philip Pullman. I have really set my mind on reading the second and third book in this series. So I thought, let me get the next one too. And maybe I will get to that one too. I think I will. This one, like middle grade, are pretty easy to read. They go quickly by, so hopefully I will get to all 3. And then we have Free Falling by Helene Holmström. I really like the cover and I love this like feel-good stories, and I feel like Swedish authors have been very talented in those lately. So I'm excited. Now I have a Norwegian book. I'm not sure if this one exists in English. Look at Us Now by Geir Gulliksen. And it's about a couple who has been married for 14 years, and I think he's like a man is kind of looking back on their marriage. I heard a lot of good things about this one, and one of my favorite Swedish bloggers has been saying a lot of good things about this book, so I'm excited. It's also it's gonna be fun. I always think it's fun to try to read Norwegian stories too. I don't read. I think it's like I read a lot more Norwegian stories than Danish stories. I don't know if we used favoritize Norway in Sweden. Yeah, probably. That's why. And this one is I got a recommendation from a friend who doesn't read a lot, which is Virginius from Breslau by Lena Einhorn. And I bought this one on his recommendation, and it's about a Nobel Prize winner and love story he had. Unclear why that is so interesting, but apparently it is. And then finally we have Hunger by Roxane Gay. It's about her relationship to food, I think. And I think it's a memoir, maybe? A biography, I'm not sure. But this one I'm also gonna read this year. I'm very sure about it. I'm excited.
4 minuter.
Okay. With the last, and then we have 3 books that I actually bought on full price. Doesn't happen a lot for me, but I really wanted these 3 and I wanted to read it this year. First up we have Mistress of Adolph by Anne Radcliffe. I'm definitely gonna read this one this year, and it's about this like gothic story. And if you have either read or seen Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, you know that this is a very important for the storyline, and the main character is reading Adolfo. And yeah, stuff happens. And I have been really wanting to read it for years, but I have never made it. I never bought it. I should have done it a long time ago, but I'm gonna read it this year. I'm super excited. I think it's gonna be great. I really like gothic stories. And then we have Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. He may have a bit of a complicated relationship. I read 2 books by him, 100 Years of Solitude and Autumn of the Patriarch. Kind of dislike both of them, but I read them in Swedish. So I'm gonna give him another shot and read him in English. Hopefully I'm gonna like him better in English. Otherwise I think I will give up on him, to be honest. But if I like this one, I think I will try to read 100 Years of Solitude in English again. Because I don't know if it just doesn't translate well, because they felt unreadable. I don't feel that a lot, but some of you are like, is this even, like, can you read this? I don't know what is going on. So hopefully I will have good feelings about him when this one is done. And then finally we have The Peach Keeper by Sarah Addison Allen. And I really love the Garden Spell by her, which I gave 5 stars. And this is also this like kind of magical realism stories, and I'm super excited about this one. I wanted to read it for a long time. So this one I'm definitely gonna read this year. So that was all of my books for January. So now let's do my Unhaul for January. I have actually pretty much books I'm gonna get rid of, which is good. Also a bit sad. A lot of these I wish I would not have to get rid of, because they were so amazing that I could keep them. But no. First up we have 2 historical romances I've read. One is Hers to Desire by Margaret Moore. I thought this one was decent, a 3-star read, but I decided all historical romance that are under 4 stars I have to get rid of, because otherwise they take up too much space, because I'm not gonna reread this one. So, has to go. This one I kind of didn't like, which is Ashburn's Lady by Sophia James. I didn't like this one. I didn't like the character, I didn't like the chemistry. I was also confused a lot about the plot in this one. Other times I didn't understand what was going on. It was a bit poorly explained, so it was like 2 star, did not really like, definitely can get rid of. And then all the other books that I've read recently and decided to get rid of. First we have A Sweet Poison Cook by Aito Pasadena. It was a decent read, I had fun with it, it was a 3 star for me. But it doesn't spark joy. It's not gonna look, it doesn't spark joy for me. I'm not gonna look at it and feel like, good memories. So let's get rid of it. Then we have Blackmore by Julian Donaldson. Super disappointing read from last year. I really didn't like this one, even if I liked the first one, which is Edinburgh. Sadly enough, even if it's absolutely gorgeous, like seriously, this one was so pretty on my shelf, so I was almost, should I keep it just because it will look pretty next to the other one I actually saved, but I'm like, it kind of makes me mad to see it. And books that spark hatred in me, I do not need to keep. Another disappointing read, which is Mindfulness for Loser by Christopher Holst, a Swedish book. I gave his debut novel a 5 star. But the plot of this one was this girl that it was gonna be. She was like in Paradise Hotel, slept on TV, came back, she wasn't satisfied with her life, her old friends kind of grew up and, you know, getting families and careers, and she's stuck in her life and started acting like a 15-year-old. Could not relate or care for her whatsoever. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you're 27 and you have impulsivity of a 15-year-old that just do things. Not for me. City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. Super disappointing, ended up in one of my worst book of 2020 video that I'm gonna upload soon. My life. But it was just bad on so many levels. I kind of hated it. It was a 1 star and so disappointing. This one I actually bought brand new because I thought, yes, I'm gonna love it. I love the synopsis, but the synopsis was garbage because I didn't get anything that I was promised. Still mad about this. And then we have Paris Wife by Paula McLean. I think I will like this one better in English because like it wasn't much of a story and the language was not so good translated. So kind of disappointment. I don't know. Don't feel like needing keeping it around. And another huge disappointment is The Bronte Project by Jennifer Van Dever. I really like these books that are like based on retellings of like Austen Bronte, like my favorite classics. And I kind of thought it was gonna be okay at first. Like, I did like kind of promise the setting, like she's looking for like old Bronte letters, Charlotte Bronte's letters, and like she's like a PhD student. And first I liked the settings, and I like the side characters much more than the main character. Like the side characters were kind of interesting, but she herself kind of not. And then like after a while it was kind of like part 2, and it was like a new setting where like everything was actually okay from the first thing she took away. So I was like, okay, like everything good with it took away, and then I'm like, I can't be bothered with this anymore. Like, nah, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't feel like finishing it, so no, thank you. Do not need to keep. Yeah, very sad. I wish I would have liked it. And she really has a bone to pick with, like, modern academia. She really hates it. The author really hates modern academia also. Like, she has some issues that she needs to solve with it. Sadly enough, I will unhaul it. I wish I would have liked it. I wish it would have been good, more like it. And then I actually unhauled some books I actually have not read. Okay, one of them I read. But it's all of these books, which is like both, you know, The Boy Called 8 by David Peltzer. This one I read, and you know, it's about an abused child basically. And also a second book I'm gonna unhaul. It's just not for me anymore. I also had like 3 more of this, like Damage by Kathy Glass, about a foster mom writing about this child that's been abused. Mom Said I Was Sick by Julie Gregory. Also about like a mom with Munchausen by proxy. And The Little Prisoner by Jane Elliott. No, she was abused by her stepfather. Yes, stepfather. In all of these are kind of child abuse stories, and most of these I got like 5 years ago, and I don't want to read about this anymore. It's too sad, and that's kind of it. It's too sad for me. I don't want to read about this much tragedy right now in my life, and I don't know if I ever will change my mind. So I kind of had this one on my, if I do not read it soon, I should actually unhaul it, for like 2 years. So I finally thought, like, you know what, I am not gonna read this. I'm not gonna be in the mood for reading about child abuse anytime soon. If I change my mind at some point in my life, I can always try to get new copies of them, probably on secondhand, cheap. So, but like right now, I don't think I'm gonna read him. This is too sad. No. Do not feel like I'm gonna read this anytime soon. So I thought like these 5 books can go somewhere else. Because there's no use for them you sitting in my basement, basically. And like this one I actually read, but does not spark joy, spark sadness. So maybe we can let that one go. Sounds like totally, it was pretty good for me. I only has plus about 11 books. Alright. And then lastly we have English Patient. As you saw, I hold an English version of this one, so I thought like, let's go get rid of the Swedish one because I rather read it in English. And I think it's worth like paying like 50 cents to get an English copy for me. So let's get rid of the Swedish one. And I think like totally I have like a surplus of 11 books, which is pretty okay. But it's only January. And Sweden always have a huge book sale every February. I have not at all been waiting for that one for like a couple of weeks now. And I usually end up buying like 20 books there every year. I will try to control myself a bit more this year, but also I'm not gonna buy as much because I usually also go on like the half price sale that are 2 weeks. They usually have half price sale, so basically half of the sale price on books, new books. That's amazing. Especially on the sci-fi book shop in Stockholm has it too, but I won't be able to actually go anywhere because of Corona, so I only buy from the internet, so I won't be able to buy as many this year. which is probably good for my space problem. It's a bit sad because it's also sad. Such a simple pleasure to just go and buy everything in a bookstore. But I have gotten really nice books this January, so I'm happy. Okay, see ya.